welcome to Cleo's first Web EDI webinar series. We're excited that everybody who had some availability is able to take some time out of their day to join us for today's session, given that it's our first one. Go ahead and jump forward here. Get started with some introductions and outline the topic of today's session. Today we want to focus on best practices around using the Web EDI solution, along with different ways that it can be leveraged to help enable growth, whether that's from a revenue standpoint, whether that's from an automation standpoint, or even growing your trading partner network and adding more partners that are EDI capable onto your existing Web EDI solution. But without further ado, my name is Sam Wojcik. Been with Cleo for just under 3 years now, supporting our go-to-market teams from more of a solution standpoint, helping to uncover the technical details and understand that we are delivering a proper architecture for our customers' needs. Pat?
Yeah, and I'm Pat Gergen. I'm the Director of Customer Success for the Web EDI product here at Cleo. I've been in this role for about 7 months, so I don't think I've had the opportunity to meet folks on this call, but want to ensure that you have my contact information going forward. But yeah, really enjoying stepping into this role, and I've been with Cleo for just under 4 years. So
fantastic. Thank you, Pat.
Yep. And then just a little housekeeping here. So, obviously this is webinar style, but if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we can address those at the end. Sam did save some time at the end for Q&A, and this will be recorded and will be shared out. So feel free to pass this along to any other folks within your respective companies that could find value there.
Perfect.
And then lastly, just for my seat, Sam's going to really be the driver here, but I just want to let this team know, because this team is new. Really, the goal of my team is to really work with our entire customer base. I'm happy to schedule time as a follow-up one-on-one with any of you going forward. But really, my goal and the team that I'm building out is just to really build a long-lasting, beneficial partnership with your companies and with Cleo, and really kind of building, that trust, that transparency, and that growth. So again, happy to find time. I'm going to hand it over to Sam to dig a little bit deeper, but I'm happy to find time from a customer success standpoint to meet with anybody going forward here as well. So I'll hand it over to you, Sam.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pat. Alrighty. To get started, I just want to do a quick demonstration of the solution for anybody who might be unfamiliar. And we'll just walk through common practices around responding to purchase orders, verifying that the documents that you are sending have been received properly by your trading partners. We'll also touch on setting up custom notifications, how that's done through the system, and what sort of configurable options are available around our custom notification feature. And lastly, just restaging documents that have failed as a quick way to, again, restage a document that you've already built out. And again, if it fails for whatever reason, how to quickly get that file back and send it with the fixed errors. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen here and jump over to the platform. Perfect. So as many of you are aware, this is the Cleo Web EDI solution. Here we have the home screen, and as I mentioned, I want to walk through PO responses, as the purchase order documents are commonly used across our Web EDI customer base. And for folks that are new to EDI or new to the solution, obviously this is an important process to understand how to do and how to do efficiently, especially if order volumes are increasing. So the first process I'll go through just responding to one document, and then I'll also show you guys a neat little trick around doing more batch processing with some of the more common purchase order documents. Here we just have a random sample document, a Walmart purchase order. And just by clicking in, it's easy to tell specifically what's being ordered where goods need to be shipped to, the amount of goods being ordered, and really all of the general purchase order information without all of the EDI guts and the EDI complexity. But right here within the solution, we'll see that we have this respond button. We'll list all of the documents that are required by your trading partner. So again, this is just a demo environment, but I'm sure for many of our customers, they just see the purchase order acknowledgement, the advanced ship notice, and the invoice, as those are commonly required, especially in the retail space. But if I go ahead and just click on this purchase order acknowledgement, what this is going to do is it's going to generate an EDI 855 purchase order acknowledgement. And we'll see here a handful of these fields have already been filled out. In order to generate a completed 855, what we need to do is fill out all of the highlighted blue fields. These are fields that have been designated as required fields by your trading partner. The white fields indicate optional fields. I just want to also mention to all of our existing customers, we do have some capabilities to pre-populate or hard code some of these fields if you do work with any static data. So for example, in this scenario, because we're always shipping to the same Walmart address, we can go ahead and hard code this field as a way to reduce the amount of manual intervention or keystrokes that would have to be done in order to complete this document. So again, a little food for thought. If there are trading partners that do have static information where there's a lot of copying and pasting and you know that none of that information changes, feel free to reach out to our support team, as we do have the capability, as shown down here, to start hard coding some of these fields and help you guys start streamlining more of the document creation and response process. But again, this is a pretty standard purchase order acknowledgement for Walmart. We see that all of these blue fields do need to be filled in order to send a completed 855 without any errors. We do have some additional capabilities. So especially for the purchase order acknowledgement, if any line item information changes or a specific line item cannot be fulfilled, there's the capability within the portal to go ahead and reject specific line items, adjust the quantity of line items, or accept them in full. I also want to point out that if there's any communication outside of EDI where these purchase orders may be changed, we do have the capability to go ahead and add new items or delete line items entirely. Again, all of the mandatory fields will be highlighted blue. All of the optional fields will be highlighted white. And anything that is static, again, feel free to reach out to support, as we can hard code some of these fields as a way to help streamline and add some efficiency around the EDI response processes. The last example just around responding that I want to showcase is the invoice is very similar to the purchase order acknowledgement. It's just around the advanced ship notice. The first screen or pop-up that we see here is our ASN packing wizard. So we have two options off the bat here, a pick and pack and an auto pack. Auto pack leverages our catalog feature where users can upload item information, weights, quantities around how goods are typically shipped as a way to avoid more of the manual intervention that has to occur with the pick and pack feature. So if any of you guys work with static goods that are not customized and are always shipped the same way, we highly recommend that you use the catalog feature, as it has the capability to understand what's being ordered within the purchase order and can automatically build out the pack level detail. So the ASN creation process is just a little bit more streamlined. For the sake of this example and the fact that I'm in our demo environment, I will go through the pick and pack option. We first have to select our number of cartons, and for the sake of this demonstration, I will just do 1. And this brings us to our drag and drop interface of the packing wizard. Here we see all of the line item detail, and here we see the associated pack level detail. All we have to do here is drag and drop each of the items and confirm the amount or quantity that we are fulfilling. Just go ahead and hit OK here. And again, just for the example, I'll just do these two line items. So we see that in pack one, we have line item one and line item two with their respective quantities showing up here that we are fulfilling those goods in one pack. Now, as we're making this pack level detail, if we need to make any adjustments, we have those capabilities to add another pack or even remove a pack if we want to consolidate some goods. I'll go ahead and hit finish here. We can see how this information comes together in the advanced ship notice. Again, we see our blue mandatory fields along with the white optional fields. As I previously mentioned around the 855, if any of these fields are going to remain static, we have the capability to hard code those on a per trading partner basis. After reviewing the ASN, if we notify or see that any of the pack level information is incorrect, we can always go back to edit packing, and we can adjust line item information here as well. The last thing that I'll note, we do have the capabilities within the portal to handle a variety of label or document creation. So if any of your trading partners require GS1 128 labels, those can be printed straight from the portal. We can also create a handful of other documents. So packing slips, packing lists, shipment summaries. If any of these documents are required by your trading partner, there's no need to go look for another label generation solution, as the portal that you guys are using today can accommodate those needs. Again, if there's any questions throughout this process, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. We will save some time at the end to go over those. The next area that I want to cover is a pretty simple process, but extremely important in the world of EDI, and that's ensuring that the documents that you send are received in full without any errors. That is easily done right here through the sent folder. And you'll see on the right-hand side here, we have this status column. What this status column does is it tracks a 997 functional acknowledgement. That document is essentially a document that just says, hey, we received what you sent us. Everything was received in full. So we track those 997 documents around when a document was sent, but maybe we haven't gotten confirmation back yet that it was received without any errors. Green indicates that a document was sent and received properly. And down here is a good example of a document that was sent and rejected. For any rejected documents, these will all show up in the acknowledgement errors tab. And this ties into restaging a document. So I'll just segue right into that. Here we see we have an 810 invoice. We know that there was an error around that document. So we'll go ahead and click in and see what may have went wrong. Again, we can see just based on the status that it was rejected. And we can see that we already have a pretty complete invoice document here. So as opposed to starting new and having to refill out this entire document in full, we have the capability to restage this document right here within the portal. Again, this will just show a little pop-up as some trading partners do not allow this and want a new copy entirely, and some will allow you to reuse that failed document just with the proper fixes. So a document has been restaged and can now be found in the draft folder. So if I go ahead and jump over to the draft folder and I sort, here we can see that 810 invoice. The last area for the sake of this demonstration, for the sake of time, is just around our custom notifications, and that can be handled in the settings section. If I go to notifications, this is where all notifications can be set up. And again, we can do these on a per trading partner basis. So if anybody in customer success or sales wants visibility into their specific accounts, we can set up trading partners or notifications rather on a per trading partner basis. Most commonly, we recommend that if you are selling goods, we want to track inbound purchase orders so folks internally can be notified of when new orders are received so that they know to go ahead and start responding to these orders. And again, we would just put our email information in here. Again, we can provide a variety of emails. So if multiple folks want notifications, those can all be set up as well. So I would just go ahead and add another email address in here. And again, we can set up alerts for multiple trading partners going to unique emails for whatever EDI documents you are transacting with your trading partners. That will close it out for the demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to our slides here. 1 second, folks. Alrighty. The next area that we wanted to cover following our demo is just a little bit of a customer success story. Specifically, we want to highlight Uncle Bob's Butter Country. This is a food and beverage manufacturer that was having some EDI requirements from especially large retailers. So the Costco's and the Walmarts and the Targets of the world, really the big boy retailers of the space that require EDI from all of their suppliers. Obviously, in order to meet these EDI demands, Uncle Bob's team needed to go out and find an EDI solution that was able to accommodate their needs. The Cleo Web EDI solution allowed them to get up and running with EDI in a super quick time, which allowed them to start realizing revenue as soon as possible. For a lot of companies, especially getting into these major retailers, the biggest goal is ensuring that you're maintaining these large retailers' SLAs, and that when they want to start doing business with you, you can start doing that business as soon as possible. Again, to start realizing revenue from these retail partners. Where Cleo came in with the assistance is ensuring that all of their EDI needs could be met through a single solution and could be managed for them whenever any EDI issues arose. Again, this solution allowed them to conduct EDI with a handful of retailers and create a foundation for any future partners, whether it's retailers, suppliers, or logistics partners, to start conducting EDI transactions with them so they can grow their business, A, from a trading partner standpoint, also from an efficiency standpoint, and C, just from a revenue standpoint. The big Cleo impacts that I do want to highlight here is the platform consolidation, the ability that all of these EDI flows can be handled on a single solution instead of using these retailers' portals. Secondly, it is the error reduction. By allowing a partner like Cleo with our vast expertise, really in the world of EDI and working with these retailers, we were able to get Uncle Bob's in a position where they didn't have a lot of EDI errors and they were conducting business efficiently. And whenever errors did pop up, they always had a resource-rich team behind them in Cleo to help them tackle any issues that did arise. The next area that we want to dive into, as we do have our variety of models, is our integration offering with the Web EDI portal. The portal comes with a handful of native integration capabilities to a variety of shipping tools, for example, ShipStation, FedEx, and UPS. However, if any organizations are using back-end record-keeping systems, such as an ERP or a WMS, we do have integration capabilities to those systems as well. So as order volumes are increasing and your EDI footprint grows, we do see strong efficiency gains around automating as much as possible to reduce manual effort. As the biggest issue with manual effort is the time that's involved and the potential for error in handling these documents manually, as that usually involves a lot of manual keystrokes and copying and pasting, which can lead to some issues. From a high level, here are two of the options that we provide on the right-hand side here, and really some of the troubles that we see with just handling B2B processes manually. So again, on the startup, this is where documents are filled in manually. Everything is done in the portal. But again, as EDI volumes grow and there is a need for proper record keeping and accounting processes, we do have this third option on the far right here to integrate with backend systems. This means that when a purchase order is received, it's automatically converted from EDI into a format that your backend system speaks. So that data can be, again, automatically ingested into that system. For any of the outbound documents, as soon as they are generated out of your system and sent back to Cleo, we automatically convert those into EDI and send them to the corresponding trading partner. Again, this is a nice way to increase efficiency and really put some guardrails on yourself around any potential errors that may come up as a result of manual processes. Again, just a quick note on our integrators. We do have a handful of options right out of the box. So whether it's for any shipping needs or any backend systems, we are extremely flexible in our integration capabilities. And I also want to mention that this is work that Cleo will take on your behalf. Rely on us as your EDI partner and our years and years and years of expertise in the EDI space to tackle all of the mapping that needs to be taken into consideration, converting from EDI to a different syntax, along with all the advanced logic that has to occur in that integration step. In many cases, what we do for customers is set up cross-reference tables to convert from your retailer SKUs to your own SKUs, along with any data validation that needs to occur around intercountry taxing, anything around ship to addresses, really whatever the EDI need is, Cleo's platform can support it in terms of a data validation and routing standpoint. And really the big question that we want to pose for you guys is when you're thinking about EDI, what is the biggest factor to consider around whether it's worth it to start automating these EDI processes? And what we like to tell our customers is the biggest factor or variable in this equation is volume. How much time does it take for you to process a purchase order and put that into another system? How much time does it take to respond to a purchase order acknowledgement or an advanced ship notice or an invoice? And what happens when you get 5 to 10 purchase orders on any given day? Does somebody within your organization have to spend a half an hour, 2 to 3 hours every day just responding to EDI orders? And does that take away from other value-added tasks that they can do within your organization? So again, the biggest factor is the time spent, and that really boils down to volume of documents. So if volume is starting to rise, we highly recommend you reach out to any Cleo representative and at least have the conversation to understand what benefits your organization could see through automation. We do have just about 5 or 6 minutes left. So I want to jump over to our Q&A now. And again, as we're doing this Q&A session, if any other questions come up or anything at all, really, feel free to reach out. This is part of the design time today is to go over any issues that you guys may be having with the solution, or really just anything in terms of a curiosity around functionalities or capabilities. So let's see, our first question, is there a way like Shopify to automatically create an ASN and an invoice without having to click through multiple steps? Fantastic question. So in terms of Shopify integrations, what we typically advise is if there is some way where we can connect via an SFTP sort of connection and exchange CSV or XML data, that is 100% an option. So if those documents do live in your Shopify system or instance today, and we would be able to get a copy of that data, that is 100% an option. Now, in the sake of full transparency and my backbone on the solution side, I don't want to lead anybody down the wrong path here. We don't have any native API integrations with Shopify. However, we do have a lot of flexibility in the ways that we can exchange data with that system. So again, if this is something that is time consuming for your team, it's always valuable to have the conversation with the Cleo team just to understand what some of your options are. And again, if we are not able to do any standard API-based integration with your Shopify instance, there are other options that we can explore. As I mentioned previously, around hard coding specific fields or exploring some more batch processing methods as a way to streamline some of those processes. And the next question, how would we set up automation? We do spend more than 20 minutes, sometimes an hour or more. That's a fantastic question. So the best way to get started on this process is to reach out to either Pat, myself, or your specific account representative. And we'll set up a call just to understand a little bit more about what that system is that we'd be looking to pass this data to, and really understand what you guys are looking for in terms of automation to understand if it's a really good fit. But essentially, it starts from a conversation. We would discuss some of the technical details along with certain data that we need to keep track of. Again, if we do need any advanced logic, these are just things that we like to know up front so that if we do want to look at automation, we can hit the ground running with these projects as opposed to getting started and then worrying about backpedaling later. Thank you, Pat, for including that information there. But yeah, feel free to reach out. It's fantastic just to have the conversation to understand what those options are and really what some of the efficiency gains are that Cleo can offer. And again, if this is something that is beneficial to your team, we are happy to go through the proper steps to understand more of a business case around the value that your organization would receive through automating these processes. All righty. The last thing with just a few minutes left here, if any questions come up following this webinar, again, feel free to reach out to our team. We're always here to be a resource and always happy to help with any needs that you guys may have. In terms of automation, again, feel free to reach out. We'll start with just a conversation to understand more about the use case and learn more from the details. But I do want to showcase or forecast our next webinar session. That will be in May. So on May 12th, at the same time, we will be diving into simplifying invoice with the ERP integration. So again, we'll look at this from two sides, maybe doing some more batch processing of invoices if you are still doing documents manually, along for our integrated customers, what automating the invoice process would look like with your ERP or backend record keeping system. Pat, is there anything else you want to add before I do a closing note here?
No, I thought this was great, Sam. Thank you. I was just going to reiterate, I think we had some folks join maybe after the introduction. So again, I just wanted to reiterate from my side, if you missed the introduction, Pat Gergen, Director of Customer Success. If there's ever any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. As I mentioned in the beginning, happy to find time one-on-one to understand kind of your current experience with Cleo, help however I can. So just wanted to reiterate that to some of the folks that might have joined a little bit late. So that's all that I had. But no, I thought this was great. Thank you, Sam.
Perfect. Thank you, Pat. Just want to mention too, we will be sending out some notifications just as a reminder for that May webinar series. Lastly, we will also be sharing a recording of this session. So if anybody else at your organization was unable to make it, feel free to share this recording with them. And again, for whatever reason, if anything comes up, we're always here to be of help. So always reach out to us with whatever you guys may need. But it was a pleasure to be here with you guys today, and we really appreciate the time that you guys were able to take out of your day to join us. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.